'86. You was given your first title defense against Trevor Berbick.
Yeah.
For the WBC Heavyweight Championship of the World. Berbick was the last person to fight Ali, and he hurt Ali very bad. When you fought him, was there any revenge?
100%, yes, no doubt about it. I was going to kill him. You know, I saw the way he was hitting Ali really hard with everything he had. Ali didn't have nothing left. He could have been, but he was trying to kill him. So I said, oh, I can't wait till I get him. Him and Larry Holmes.
Him and Larry?
Yeah.
20 years old, Mike Tyson on his way to becoming one of the youngest heavyweight champions of all time. Bangs the body. Wow, that uppercut is Tyson. Catches him with a right left hook, and he goes down. He goes down. He should be able to get up from this. His legs may be shut. They are. As Trevor Berbick falls back in the rope, I don't know if he's going to be able to continue.
Now, you might be thinking how we exactly got here. How Berbick is laid out on the floor looking confused and discombobulated at the same time, and how exactly Mike Tyson achieved this feat by winning the WBC title and ultimately becoming the youngest heavyweight champion of the world. And in order for me to explain this, we need to go all the way back to the very start. It's now November 22nd, 1986. It's a cool 14 degrees outside. The year of the outbreak of the mad cow disease was still running rampant in the UK. The year that the Oprah Winfrey Show had its first debut on national television. And also the year that there was an accident in one of the reactors during the Chernobyl disaster. At just the age of 20, Mike Tyson challenged the champion at the time, Trevor Berbick, for the WBC Heavyweight Championship title. And this fighting bout was billed Judgment Day, to see whether or not either fighter would leave the ring in sheer defeat or in glorious victory. Prior to this matchup against Tyson, in all of Berbick's previous 36 fights, Berbick had only lost 4 fights, 3 of them down to unanimous decision, and 1 of them losing to Larry Holmes in 1981. And only once in his career, only once, Berbick received a loss due to being knocked out by Bernardo Machado in 1979. And this was just 3 years into the start of his pro career in 1976. At 6 feet 2 inches tall, weighing 216 pounds, Berbick was coming off a 9-win streak with an overall boxing record of 31 wins, 4 losses and 1 draw, achieving a knockout percentage of 86% during his career. Trevor Berbick, in other words, looked like a formidable opponent for Tyson by having the height advantage as well as having more boxing experience. Standing at 5 foot 10 inches tall and weighing 220 pounds, Tyson was a short and stocky fighter and generally lacked the appearance of a classic heavyweight boxer, which traditionally looked like a fighter having a much taller and slimmer frame. Although Mike didn't look the part, but he did certainly play the part, with a surprising quickness and aggressiveness to overwhelm his opponents within the ring. From an early age, Tyson's legal guardian and also his trainer at the time, Cus D'Amato, had taught Michael a peekaboo boxing style, whereby holding his hands close to his face while maintaining a continuous bobbing motion, which ultimately made his defense impenetrable. Although Tyson was not the originator of the peekaboo style, he was certainly one of, if not the most prominent fighter who adopted a boxing style during his career. Tyson further enhanced the effectiveness of the peekaboo style with his extremely formidable and also notorious punching power. The young soon-to-be champion walked into the fight undefeated with a stellar record of 27 wins, 0 losses and 0 draws, while achieving a ruthless knockout percentage during his 2-year boxing career so far. And sadly, a few weeks before the fight, his former legal guardian and trainer Cus D'Amato had passed away due to pneumonia at the age of 77. With a few weeks leading up to this fight, Tyson made a promise to himself that he would dedicate this fight to Cus, and would also use this opportunity to prove to the entire world what he was exactly made of.
Wants to prove that he's one of the great champions. Let's see how long his reign lasts. Mike Tyson kind of feeling him out here. False bravado here. Standing toe-to-toe is not the way. If he doesn't pump head of Mike Tyson as he takes a light left jab, Tyson will be able to get underneath it. Oh, wow! With a right, another left hook that just standing directly in front of him. That is, a left hook that really caught him. That is disaster. Berbick clips him with the left hand. Look at this combination, and Berbick ready to go. He can't take shots like this very long. Wow, with the right hand is Mike. Again, he's blocked. Catches him with a left hook. Fighting in the wrong position. Not using the jab of the belt. Well, at least Berbick didn't go down in the first round. Make no mistake, Tyson is in command. Tyson already off his stool. Here's Trevor Berbick. This is round 2. The double championship of the world. Trevor Berbick and Mike Tyson. Tyson goes to work right away, and he's getting further in trouble, and he's down to 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8, and he says Tyson again. He knows he can hurt him anytime with right hand. 20 years old, Mike Tyson. Look at that uppercut as Tyson catches him with a right left hook, and he goes down. He get up from this. His legs may be shut. They are, as Trevor Berbick, but his body won't let him do what his mind wants to. And he's
in the process of relinquishing Berbick's championship reign, the challenger wasted little to no time breaking down the 32-year-old champion, literally throwing bombs with the intention to finish the fight early. With a bit of movement while absorbing these punches, Berbick had just made it out of the first round, but had already taken major damage in the process. And at this point, everyone could see the glaring mismatch between both fighters. And by the start of the second round, Tyson continued to inflict damage with a series of power punches, and ended the barrage with a left hook flooring Berbick down to the canvas for a knockdown. And Berbick immediately got up from the count and signaled to the referee that he was okay. But at this point, we all knew he wasn't okay, and his fate couldn't be any clearer. With only a few moments later into the fight, the young challenger continued giving Berbick a life-humbling beatdown, and finally finished him off with a sharp left hook to the temple. And experiencing a delayed reaction, Berbick now crashed down to the canvas for the second time during the fight. Now at this point, it was a done deal. The now confused and also discombobulated former champion seemed as though he'd been hit by a 50-hit combo on Mortal Kombat as he struggled to beat the 10 count, and ultimately led to the fight being waved off as a TKO victory in favor of Mike Tyson. That night in Las Vegas, Tyson achieved his first heavyweight title and was now also recognized as the youngest heavyweight champion in boxing history. In order for me to explain how crazy this actually is, I will show you a graphic of all the top 10 youngest heavyweight champions in the history of the sport. At just the age of 20 years, 4 months and 23 days, Mike Tyson still currently stands to this day as the youngest heavyweight champion. And in my personal opinion, this record most probably won't be broken anytime soon. Before Tyson entered the scene, the record previously belonged to Floyd Patterson, who in November 1956 managed to achieve the NBA and also the NYSAC heavyweight titles at just the age of 21 years, 10 months and 26 days. And this was after knocking out Archie Moore by defeating the former heavyweight champion within the 5th round. And it's fair to say that Iron Mike was in a different league of his own during his early 20s. Another thing to also consider is that boxing during the 50s was a much different era to the 70s and 80s, whereby producing great fighting talent during the era of the golden age, with examples such as Muhammad Ali, Joe Frazier, Sonny Liston, Larry Holmes, Ken Norton, and many other spectacular fighters. And so the competition in Patterson's day might not exactly compare to the competition that Tyson faced early in his boxing career. And further glancing at this list, you would have now recognized other well-accomplished fighters who during their heyday dominated the boxing scene during their youth. I would like to shed further light on these 3 particular fighters by acknowledging their brief accomplishments and accolades during their younger days. Beginning with the 2-time heavyweight champ George Foreman entered the scene at the age of 20 years and 5 months. Foreman won his first fight by knockout and continued on an unbeaten streak, having an impressive boxing record of 38 wins, 0 losses and 0 draws, while maintaining a phenomenal knockout percentage of 89% during his early boxing career. And then by 1973, Foreman defeated Joe Frazier by TKO to then become the new WBA, WBC and the ring heavyweight title holder. We then have the GOAT himself, the 3-time heavyweight champion Muhammad Ali, who erupted to the boxing scene at just the age of 18 years and 9 months. Ali won his professional debut fight by unanimous decision, and then further continued on an unbeaten streak, having a solid boxing record of 22 wins, 0 losses and 0 draws, while maintaining an impressive knockout percentage of 70% during his early fighting career. And in 1964, Ali defeated Sonny Liston by a corner stoppage to then become the 2nd youngest undisputed heavyweight champion at the time. And lastly, the 2-time heavyweight champion, that is Vladimir Klitschko, came into the boxing scene by winning his first fight by knockout at just the age of 20 years and 7 months. Klitschko went undefeated for a total of 24 fights, shortly before his defeat against Ross Purity in 1998. And then 2 years later, in October 2000, Klitschko defeated Chris Bird to become the new reigning WBO heavyweight champion of the world. And at that point, Klitschko had accomplished a boxing record of 35 wins, 1 loss and 0 draws, while maintaining a face knockout percentage of 80% during his early boxing career. And as impressive as these fighters were during their championship reign, Michael had a high knockout percentage of nearly 93%, despite starting his professional career at just the age of 18 years and 8 months. And then about 2 years later, Tyson progressed further to achieve his first heavyweight title by honoring and dedicating the victory to his former trainer. Irrespective of which certain fighter might be better, which is is usually determined by the number of accolades, the number of knockouts, or even the number of championship titles a fighter might have. These fighters, as well as many others who are not currently on this list, have certainly proved not only to the boxing scene, but the entire world that dreams can become true. Thank you all for tuning into this video. Don't forget to subscribe, and as always, I will see you in the next one.
If he hadn't gotten a hold of you and guided you into the ring and molded your success there, do you have any idea where Mike Tyson would be today?
Mike Tyson would always be successful because I always had that belief in myself I was going to be successful. I wasn't going to continue going to bad boys' homes or something, you know, negative like that. But I just wouldn't have been as sharp and intelligent as I am now if it wasn't for Cus.